God damn it. Well, what are you waiting for? Kick the hell out of me and get your standing ovation.
So, The Killing Joke. I don't know if you know this or not, but for the better part of 20 odd years, it's only been just a graphic novel written by Alan Moore and illustrated artistically things Brian Ballard, or however you say his last name, Brian. Now, The Killing Joke, as of 2016, as of just a couple of weeks ago, is officially. The premiere was at Comic-Con. It's animated movie DC things. So it's basically it's 50-50 as far as fans, fucking tomato meter, blah blah blah. It's pretty much 50-50. Let's just get this over with right now. The biggest thing that most everybody, fans, critics, blah blah blah, everyone alike, everyone hates the Batgirl bit at the beginning. The Batgirl story, Paris, France, whatever, all that nonsense. Everyone hates it. Batman, sex, happens, Batgirl. So let's get all this over with now. Me being a Batman expert and whatnot, NerdSync, who's a great, just awesome. I don't obviously need to give them any sort of praise or whatever. They're doing fine. But NerdSync, they do the series, YouTube series, a bunch of them. But the biggest one is Comic Book Misconceptions. They opened my eyes recently to a little known fact, even to a Batman expert that I do claim to be. Just before The Killing Joke's release in March of 1988, the month and year that I was born, oddly enough, I think it's like a year or so before, DC published what was supposed to be the final Batgirl comic. It was a comic that put her into retirement, blah blah blah. NerdSync does a much better description of this. Check them out somewhere, here, obviously. Everybody, that's anybody, that's fucking me and fucking everybody, is not a fan of the beginning Batgirl bit of The Killing Joke animated film. Except I do like it. I always thought that, once the trailer and such was released for the Killing Joke, there was like, hey, there's some Batgirl stuff happening, I'm pretty interested in this. And then it happens, and it does drag on for a bit, but it is a story telling of Batgirl's final mission, her retirement. And it's as far as like comic history, canon, awesomeness goes, it's a pretty welcome addition to The Killing Joke, I think. Obviously, Bruce Timm, who kind of threw Brian Azzarello, or however you say his name, Brian Azzarello, who wrote a brilliant graphic novel called Joker, and he had a huge part in like Thomas Wayne in the Flashpoint Paradox and stuff. He wrote, as far as I know, he wrote that whole bit and stuff in the comics. Anyways, Brian Azzarello, who's the writer of the Killing Joke movie, Bruce Timm threw him under the bus and said, hey, this was all his idea of Batman and Catwoman. Batman and Batgirl having sex. That was his idea. No. There's no way possible. Bruce Timm, Alan Burnett, who both of whom played huge parts in Batman the Animated Series, they obviously have some sort of fetish with Batman and Batgirl hooking up. They just do. It's like a fact at this point. The only time, and this also comes from NerdSync, They just recently did a video called, it's a tie-in video that's one of their series that they do. But this just reconfirmed something that I already knew, where they talked about the Batman-Batgirl relationship. The only time that Batman and Batgirl have ever hooked up, like in the history of ever, is through Bruce Timm and Alan Burnett animated movies, series, things. That's just a fact. Whatever, fine, Batman, Batgirl have sex. It's kind of creepy. Hell, I believe it comes from Bruce Timm's mouth himself. Like it was either the commentary or some sort of random the special feature of one of the collections of Batman the Animated Series. I'm pretty sure it's Bruce fucking Timm himself that says, hey, everyone's creeped out about the thought of Batman and Batgirl, but we thought it was kind of an interesting addition to that scene where Batgirl has that fantasy kissing Batman things. Outside of that, man, how could anybody complain? How can you complain about this Killing Joke movie? It's like comic book nerdom perfection. Like, seriously. You've got Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman. You've got Mark Hamill, who is the Joker. Not just the voice, but the fucking Joker. Like, period. The best performance of Joker ever. No doubts about it. He is the Joker. This is... fucking Kevin Conroy pretty much is the Batman, but whatever. You even got Tara Strong reprising her role as Batgirl from, well, at least the New Adventures of Batman. Whatever. But still, Tara Strong, she also did the voice of Harley Quinn throughout the Arkham series and stuff. Awesome. Yeah, and it is Bruce fucking Timm who's like the main honcho behind this for the most part. You know, he's since 1992 he has been in control of Batman animated things, and it pretty much is damn near. Once the Batgirl bit is over with, yes, there's arguments, but again, I didn't like it. Hell, even the opening line of the Batgirl thing, I imagine this isn't how you thought this would start. Not with me, whatever. It's just awesome, dude. It's fine. But once the story, the Killing Joke kicks in, how the hell could anyone complain about it? It's damn near word for word, bit by bit, scene by scene adaptation of the Killing Joke with Kevin fucking Conroy and Mark fucking Hamill. How could you complain? But there's just a couple of things I don't like. There's a couple of things. Number one, this is just an aesthetic thing that just drives me insane. But Batman's ears, whatever the fuck you want to call those things, most people call them ears for some reason. They drive me insane. I mean, just look at that. There's something just not right about that at all. I think they like curve inwards, or it's weird. It's weird. I don't like it. That's just a random bit of nothing for the most part. The only Batgirl-y related thing that I didn't like was the final scene in the movie where it's like kind of post-credits-ish, like all Marvel-y or whatever. I think I'm forgetting something. Here's the final scene. The joke. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. What? So yeah, man, that's Killing Joke. It's awesome. Unless you're a critic. Although with this, I can see a bit more why there's some criticism. But not really. I'm Ryan. I'm drunk. This is randomjunk.com. Yeah. Batman and Barbara, they have a relationship. Things happening. Let's see. Things happening. I don't understand the joke. And I'll get into the joke here in just a second. But I don't understand the joke. I never have. I never, since I first read The Killing Joke. No, since I first read The Killing Joke. Since I've reread The Killing Joke and reread The Killing Joke and reread The Killing Joke, and since now I've watched the movie, I still don't get this joke. As awesome as it is to finally hear Mark Hamill tell the joke, it's nowhere near as awesome as I thought it was in my head. When you read The Killing Joke, I don't know, there's something about the way that Mark Hamill reads it, or the way that it's paced, or something. It just happens way too quick, man. Like, when you read the joke, there's these two guys. Even the way Mark Hamill says guys pisses me off for some reason. It's just, there's these two guys. Like he's some random bum. Like, there's these two guys. And they're in an insane asylum. I don't know. I know that's how it's written in The Killing Joke itself. Whatever. Nitpicking at all. Just like totally here. But I don't like the pacing of the telling of the joke. He does it way too fast, I think. There needs to be a lot more like spaces in between. It's just, at least that's how I read it. Maybe it's because I'm a slow reader or something, but yeah, could be worse. There's just, I don't know, he's just blah 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 blah, and that's the joke's over. Even though it takes you, I don't know, the pacing of it was weird.